All right. I forget.
All right.
I forget how we do these.
We start. I say, I'm Harris. You say you're Dalton. You say I'm Bosnian, and then we talk about anime.
This is the anime podcast. Like, we should just
This
put in,
is
like,
this is the only one.
yeah, the only anime podcast. But we need to put, like, in parentheses, like, the Who Needs It podcast, parentheses, anime podcast.
Yeah, at this point.
Yeah, but anyways, you're Harris. I'm Dalton.
I'm Harris.
He's Bosnian.
You're Dalton. And I'm Bosnian.
Okay, I figured
Unfortunately.
when you were explaining how we start an episode was how we're going to start the episode, so...
Yeah, that's fine. Just keep all of it in.
Yeah, this I'm planning on it. So, yeah, we keep missing our deadline of the 15th of every month again. Oops.
I apologize to all 4 of our listeners.
Yeah, all of Harris's coworkers. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and your dog. Moving on, swiftly moving on from that.
Mm-hmm.
What were we talking about before we started? I was supposed to read Invincible. I read 1 chapter like an absolute moron.
We literally, I had to, every time we start a new episode, I have to re-listen to the last episode to know what we talked about, to be able to, like, okay, this is what we're talking about this episode. This is the homework and stuff. We talked about Invincible for the last, like, 10 minutes of the episode. So you're kind of letting everybody down. So, just saying.
I sure am.
Well, I assume you have some sort of anime to talk about anyways.
Yeah, this is an anime podcast.
As is tradition.
So I watched something else.
Surprisingly.
That I'm going to compare Invincible to, but I need to read Invincible to compare them.
Okay, well...
But once I get to that, it'll make more sense.
Yeah, I mean, I've read all of Invincible, and I've seen 2 seasons of the show, so if you explain some of it, I might be able to see how it's related.
Well, I watched The Boys, another superhero thing where it's what if superheroes were real, and it was kind of fucked up.
Yeah, have you watched all the seasons then?
Yeah, because they're pretty short, and I just needed something to put on as, like, I'm not gonna look at it much. I'm just gonna get other things done while I'm like paying attention to it, but I'm not like looking at it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And did you watch it all while your girlfriend is gone? Because I would not think this would be her cup of tea.
Yes, absolutely. This is I had to not wait for her to go, but this is like a not watch while she's around kind of thing.
Yeah. So I've watched the first 3 seasons of the show, and I know what happens in the 4th season just because I wasn't super impressed with the show, so I didn't really want to watch the 4th season, so I just looked at the spoilers to see what was, like, happening instead of, like, spending... Because it's, like, hour episodes, and is it 8 episodes?
Yeah.
So it was like 8 hours of show I didn't really feel like watching, but I kind of wanted to know what was going on. So if you want to talk about the whole thing, we can. So
I really want to... Well, we can cover some of it, and then I really want to relate it to Invincible, because I think they're good to compare how they tackle similar subjects in separate ways. But I'll just run over The Boys real quick. Season 1 and 2 are really good. Season 3 just kind of dipped in a way where I was like, this is fine. And then season 4 is kind of whatever. I really liked it early on, just because I liked the actor that plays... Carl Urban plays...
Butcher.
Butcher, yeah. Carl Urban plays Butcher, and he's fantastic in it. As someone who grew up in Iowa, sorry to dox us.
I literally told people what my hometown was last episode. So.
Oh, yeah, that's true. one of my biggest gripes is that Starlight is said to be from Des Moines.
Yeah.
And that she went to Hoover High School. And as someone who almost went to Hoover High School, she did not go to Hoover High School. I'm letting you know that for damn sure.
Is it because she's white?
Yeah.
That is. I thought Hoover was the more inner city school, but maybe I'm wrong.
It is, yeah. Like, there are white people that go there, but they're not, like, super Christian, like, well-off people. Like,
yeah.
That area of town that I lived in was not, it's not super nice. Like, they show her house, and I'm like, maybe if you went to Hoover, maybe you live in a house like that. If you're lucky. That's not like you are doing way higher than you should be, because that's like an inner city school.
Yeah. I mean, if they said that she went to Dowling, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, if she went to Dowling or Johnston,
yeah,
something like that, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. Or Valley, you know?
That's true too.
That would make sense. I'd be like, yeah, that checks out. She is a preppy white girl.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's literally kind of a throwaway thing that she's from Des Moines, right? I mean, I guess it's like, they bring it up quite a bit in the first season when you first introduce her, but that did also was like, I don't know, and they like portray like Des Moines, Des Moines a big city. Oh, not a big city. But it's like...
It's a city. Like, it's similar to comparing people from Chicago to people from the rest of Illinois.
Like, like in terms of Iowa.
There are. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like they talk about like she grew up in like a rural area. I'm like, no, Des Moines urban. It's just, you go 10 minutes out of Des Moines and you're in cornfields. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. I know it's not supposed to be a big deal, but like as someone from here, or not from here, as someone from Des Moines, I'm like, that is not what Des Moines is like at all.
Yeah.
So, I just think it's funny.
Also, it's weird,
too. I mean, if they said she was from Greenfield, that would make more sense.
That would make more sense. Yeah, and like, yeah, I don't know. Like, because it's also, Des Moines is, like, all big cities are pretty liberal. So, because she was kind of like the Catholic, like, good, like, no abortion type thing. And, like, that's not really Des Moines. Des Moines is probably the only big, liberal, left-leaning area in central Iowa, at least. But, yeah, they're just like...
Yes, with a very diverse population.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I guess anything else? I guess we could stop talking about Starlight being from Des Moines and actually get to the show. But.
Yeah, overall, I really liked the first two seasons. I was really intrigued with like how they come up with how are they gonna kill these superheroes. Where they had to kill the Invisible Man, and I was like, oh, that was fun and clever. I can't wait for the show to be more like this, and it really wasn't. It was more, this person likes this person, but they're a superhero, so they're not going to get along, and
yeah,
stuff like that.
I felt like the first season was really good about like having like serious things were happening, but they had some of these like wacky type things going on. By the third season, it was just wacky stuff going on. And then the fourth season, I think that was like the whole entire thing was like that. So that's why I really enjoyed the first
It feels
two
like
seasons.
it kind of stopped taking itself seriously.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to take itself seriously. It just seems so weird. Like the third season, like the orgy episode. Like, I understand that that's probably what the Soups would be doing, but it just seems so... They just wanted to have a bunch of gags. and that's why they did it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like integral to the plot that it happens to be here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a lot of set piece like gags where they're like, we got to get this in, and like, oh, this person's power would do this, so how would that work in an orgy? And it's...
We have Stretchy Penis Man, and he's going to stretch his penis, and it's going to be hilarious.
Yeah. Or Shrinks Down Man. Where can you go?
God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that part was really funny, where he sneezes and kills the dude.
Yeah, and I mean, that's probably what real-life superheroes would be like. There'd be a lot of, Superman-esque where they would be, like, really good, but then you would have, like, the degenerates. So it makes sense, but I don't know. I don't think it's anything like the comics. I have not read them, but I'm like, there's no way any of this was like the comics.
I haven't read them, but from what I've heard, they might be weirder.
Yeah, well, like, I think in the comics, the reason Mother's Milk's name is that is because I think he, like, nurses from his mom or something, and it gives him powers.
Interesting.
So I think
I heard that in the comic, Frenchie's dad was killed by being stabbed by a baguette. I could be getting that wrong.
I'm taking that as canon. I don't care if that's real or not. That's funny.
But, like, it's because he's French. Do you get it?
I get it. Very good joke. Ha ha ha, comedy. But...
Yeah, I'm interested to get back to Invincible to read a more serious take on this. Not that The Boys is bad. I'd recommend the first 2 seasons. I really enjoyed them. And then the 3rd season with Soldier Boy.
Yeah.
It takes everything I have not to say Soldier Boy.
How do they... I know that it's Soldier Boy, but I feel like Soldier Boy would be like, I'm gonna sue you guys can't have my name, but they are legally distinct.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I guess it's probably spelling.
Yeah. Well, also a weird thing is that I believe the showrunner for The Boys is the same guy who did the first few seasons of Supernatural.
That would make sense.
Which is why you have I always forget Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy is Dean, and then you have oh my god, I forgot
Bobby.
his name. Oh, his name is literally Bobby Singer in the show too.
Yep.
So you have Bobby.
Yep. I was laughing so hard. I was like, how are they getting away with this?
It's like, yeah, and in Supernatural, he's named after a producer whose name is Robert Singer. Because there's an episode where they talk about that. It's like, you guys named yourself? You named a character after yourself? That's weird. It's like the episode where the Supernatural guys go to the real world where they're shooting Supernatural. So, but
one of the best episodes.
Yeah, and then Jeffrey Dean Morgan's in it too, which was Dean and Sam's dad. So, but
yeah, he was also in The Walking Dead.
Yeah, so
he's a fantastic actor.
Dude, one of my favorite bits. I'm sorry, I love Supernatural. One of my favorite bits is when Supernatural was still going on when Jeffrey Dean Morgan was Negan in The Walking Dead, and there's an episode of Supernatural where they just get done killing vampires, and Dean is cleaning off a bat wrapped in barbed wire, and he goes, "Man, I can't believe we never saw this in here. Why didn't Dad tell us about this?" It was like
funny.
It was like his dad's baseball bat. I'm like, that is hilarious. I very much enjoy this. Also, because man, we're gonna have to have an episode about Walking Dead, and we're gonna have to have an episode about Supernatural because those are really good, and I've read all of the Walking Dead comics. So
yeah, we can. Do you have the Walking Dead comics?
Yep, all of them.
Okay, I'll finish Invincible and then I'll grab those and we can talk about them.
I think you've had my Invincible since the first season came out, which I think was 2020.
No, because
Oh, I guess, when did you move to
I
that?
got them once we moved up here. So it
Correct.
must have been 2022.
Really? I guess
Yeah.
so, huh? Man, time
Yeah.
flies.
Yeah. So, my goal by the next episode is to at least have this second one done.
Yeah.
Is what I said last time, but I didn't.
Is what you said a month ago.
Yes.
Nice.
So I watched The Boys. I finally finished, because I had one episode left, of Delicious in Dungeon, also known as Dungeon Meshi.
Did you say Delicious in Dungeon?
Yes.
Please tell me this is like a food anime.
It is, yeah.
Okay, God. I was like, please, God.
So the reason I had one episode left is my girlfriend was gone for a month. So it was a show we were watching together, and she came back yesterday.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because I thought she was still gone I thought she was gone for like a month, and then you said that you had to drive her somewhere. I'm like, oh, she must be back.
Yeah, I picked her up and then had to take her to her parents' place where she left her car. So
Gotcha.
That's all the drive. I drove for I think 12 hours this weekend.
Jesus.
So
did you fly into Chicago?
Yeah.
Why? Cheaper?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, okay, enough. Sorry, I derailed us, but I was just like, oh yeah. But you said delicious in Dungeon.
Yeah,
Okay.
or Dungeon Meshi.
I was a little worried because I don't know why, but I watched the whole series of Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon?
Really?
Yeah.
Why would you watch that?
I'm
so curious. Why would you watch that?
I watched one episode, and then I'm like, this is weird, right? Because it's like this really awkward guy, and for whatever reason, it's literally like a harem anime. And I was like, I gotta see where this goes, because there's no story here. There's no plot here. How are they gonna create plot? And it was a miracle they didn't. It was crazy. They just went from like half naked women to half naked women, the whole thing. And I'm like, there's no plot. There was no story. Nothing happened. And it was over. So.
Interesting. I can't talk shit because of the stuff I'll talk about later.
Fair. But yeah, I'll stop derailing you, so.
Yeah, Dungeon Meshi is really good. It is really for autistic people. It goes into such specific details on the most benign things in a way that I cannot get enough of this show. It goes into so in-depth in detail of the monsters. So the main crux of this is, without giving too much of the story away, is that these adventurers are going through a dungeon that goes underground, and there are monsters in there. And instead of spending their money on food above ground and bringing that down and trying to store it and trying to get as far down as they can, they are just going to eat the monsters for sustenance, which is not a normal thing that they do in this world. So
why are they going into the dungeons in the first place? Is there a reason, or is it just to get loot? Is it like a video game but not?
Yeah, it's like you go in to get cool loot, and then that's how you make money.
That's literally the same as the harem anime I talked about. I think that's literally what they did.
Interesting. So there is a group of them, and in the beginning, some of the members leave. So it's 3 people, a human, an elf, and a half-foot. And they run into a dwarf, and the dwarf knows how to cook things. And the human is, Laios, is very, very autistic coded. Like, in multiple scenes, he's not picking up social cues that people are dropping, and that becomes a problem in the series with him and other characters, to the point where I was like, I don't like Laios very much as a character, but I was on his side because I'm like, you know that this guy isn't picking up on your social cues, so why are you expecting him to after you know he's not going to? With one specific character in mind, where he was so Laios has a sister, and she gets kidnapped early on in the series, like episode 1. So he wants to venture in and get her. They don't have money, so now they have to eat the monsters as they go. This one samurai dude was just there, joining the party to like hit on his sister. And I was like, man, I thought I was going to like this samurai guy. Turns out I hate that samurai guy. But they pick up a few party members here and there. I'm trying to give very broad strokes about this show because I'm recommending it to people if they haven't seen it. I'd say it's a nice solid like 7.58 out of 10.
What is the genre? Is it suspenseful? Is it dark? Or is it just like happy-go-lucky, but there's stuff bad that happens? Like, what's the vibe?
It's very adventure-based, very fantasy-based. If I found out that the original source material was based on a D&D campaign that the author had, I would not be surprised, because it gives off the vibe of like a really thought out, thorough D&D campaign.
Okay. I would say, are they just like teenagers, or are they adults? Is it like a isekai, or is it like they just live in this world?
Not an isekai. So Laios, the human character, is 26, and then the half-foot is, I think, like I want to say 40 for whatever reason, but he is later on in the series you find out that his race don't age. Like, none of the races age the same, so all of them, like, their age means a different thing. So just because the elf girl is like 100 doesn't mean she's old. She's like super young for an elf. Stuff like that.
Yeah, and that makes, I think,
but they're all
most fantasies
older,
like that.
Yeah, they're all like relatively old for an anime cast. You don't usually see people in their 20s, quote unquote. So the dwarf that joins them, his name is Senshi. He is probably the best character in the series. He's the one that knows how to cook everything. And when they meet him, they're like, how do you know all this stuff? And he kind of deflects. But as the series goes on, it kind of explains why he knows what he knows, and kind of his quote unquote tragic backstory. But this show's really good. It's gonna get a second season. I think it's already greenlit for it. And then, from my understanding, once it finishes that second season, that's it. That's all that's going to be of this show. It's animated by Studio Trigger, which usually for me is a sign that I'm not going to watch this anime. They made Gurren Lagann, and they made Kill la Kill and some other stuff, but
yeah, I think
I don't like what they make.
Well, I've seen a lot of memes from Darling and the Franks. They made that too, apparently.
Oh, did they? They made that too? Okay.
Yeah, I just looked. I was looking on the Wikipedia for this anime because I kind of want to see what the art style was. If it was, like a My Hero Academia, kind of like bubbly, or if it was like more dark, like an older 90s anime looking. And it kind of looks, I don't know, kind of a little bit
I'd
darker.
say it's kind of in between.
Like a little bit more like detailed and stuff. Maybe kind of like maybe it's because I've watched more of this, but a Full Metal Alchemist kind of vibe. For animation.
Yeah.
It's not like super... I don't know how to say it without being offensive, but like the anime style, it's like very cutesy, bubbly sometimes. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, very. What's the word? I don't know what the word is. But yeah, it's kind of in between. Yeah. Whereas other shows right now are much more. I don't know the term, but this it's not a bad looking show, but it doesn't look like a lot of what they make, and a lot of what they make is very fan service heavy, which is why I don't like Studio Trigger's like output. I like they're technically very skilled. I'm not like gonna try to take that away from them. They are very technically skilled. Their animation is crazy good, but they also mainly animate tits and ass jiggling, you know?
Yeah.
Which is not what I'm
Is that
looking
their
for
fault
in anime.
or the fault of whatever manga that they pick up on? Because I assume
So I believe like Kill la Kill was an original work by them.
Gotcha. Is Darling in the Franxx? I only know about that one because it's memed so hard because of how ridiculous. Wait, is that the one that's ridiculous where it's like they're controlling mechs, but to control the mechs they pretty much have to be in doggy style, or is that a different anime I'm thinking of?
I believe that's the same anime.
So, yeah, if that was an original work and they decided to do that, okay, maybe it's the animation company. But if that was a manga and they did that in that. Maybe it's not their fault, but... Dude, that's... Not that they get sidetracked, but that's insane, right? How does someone watch that and be like, oh, I really hope our characters don't die here, and they're looking at this? You know what I mean? Like, how what is the cognitive dissonance to be able to be like, this is a good show?
I don't know. I genuinely don't. That's what I ask myself whenever people bring up Studio Trigger stuff. I'm like, how did you enjoy it? It's just tits and ass in your face the whole time.
Yeah, and it looks like from the images that I looked up, I just wanted to see what it looked like. The show does have, like, the blonde elf character. She seems to be, makes a lot of weird faces, and it looks like she's, like, has a very low-cut shirt, so I guess there's still some of that stuff happening in this. Or am I making that up?
So... There is, but it's much less than normal, and there's really only one character that it happens to. Well, okay, sorry, that's not true. There are two characters that it happens to semi-frequently. One is the disappeared girl Fallon that they're looking for. Hers kind of occurs by... She takes on a new form at one point. That's a bit of a spoiler, and it's just kind of what she looks like now. And the other person is actually a male character. It's Senshi the dwarf, which is funny. So they do play it for laughs. Like, you see a bunch, like, he wears like a metal skirt, so it's just like occasionally he lands and you're just seeing his underwear, which, you know,
fair.
I'm glad it goes both ways, I guess. But they do play it for laughs.
There's a
it does.
Wait, is this a cat person?
It is a cat person.
Is this a cat man or girl?
I believe it's a female.
Okay. No, I was just looking at it, and well, the species is called a tall man, and I'm like, that what?
Yeah, that's what humans are called.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look too bad. It does. I keep seeing a bunch of pictures of like the characters eating stuff, but like, it looks a little provocative. If you catch my meaning.
The food or the characters?
The characters are making some weird faces as they're eating the food. Like, it's like... Yeah. So it's a little weird. But it's an anime. Like, what else?
Yeah.
That's what they do, right?
Yeah. I think it's I think it's a show you would watch with your girlfriend. I think you'd both enjoy it.
She's never watched any anime. And...
Like, at all?
No. She's...
And you haven't made her watch Brotherhood?
Yeah, I told her, like... I mean, I'm not huge into anime, and I think a lot of it's kind of weird, to be honest. Yeah. But yeah, I would... If I... Like, Brotherhood... Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is, like, the gateway drug if you want people to watch anime, I feel like. Because it's pretty normal to a regular TV show. You know, like the story and everything. But yeah. I'll see if she wants to watch it, and then maybe we can watch this. You just start normal and then progress into weird.
Yeah, I also think this would be a pretty decent first anime for someone, because it's not doing the niche, you know, for lack of a better term, fetishistic thing that anime does. You know, It's not a lot of like fan service, awkward character interactions, people talking like no one ever speaks before, you know, weird motivations, villains popping out of nowhere, power-ups and power systems just literally coming to a character at the moment of need, stuff like that.
No Deus
it's a much
Machina, whatever they call it.
Yeah, no Ichigo now can go Super Saiyan 20 or whatever. But yeah, it's... listeners, if you're looking for a fun, relaxing show, check it out.
Yeah, and it looks like the series as a manga is over now, so I assume that if they do, you know, the rest of the anime wraps it up in the second season, it's gonna be... There's going to be the story. It already has an ending. It's not going to have to figure out its own ending or anything, which is probably pretty good. Not to say that these companies can't make their own ending, but I think the person who created the series is better at ending their show or book or whatever better than random people who just animated it.
Yeah.
Nice. Was that the second thing you want to talk about, or do you have anything else you want to talk about?
I don't know, did you want to cover some stuff, and then I'll finish up with my last two shows?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really done anything. The only thing... I just been pretty much working and playing Pokemon Go. Did I talk about Pokemon Go last time?
You have not talked about Pokemon Go.
I think maybe the episode where... Well, it might have been last episode where we talked about the Pokemon roguelite. I may have talked about it a little bit. But no, I just been playing Pokemon Go like every day. And I don't know why. Like today there was a community day where like a specific Pokemon spawns. It's like the only spawn that they have. It was Tynamo. I don't know if you remember that guy. He's like in the 5th generation. He's like a little eel fish thing that turns into like a bigger eel fish thing. So I just been playing that and working. A lot of my work I have to like go to a place, stay there the whole week, and then come back, so I don't really have much time to do anything. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I'm just reading Warhammer books as always. Oh, there's one thing I wanted to bring up was that I listened to the last episode. I don't know if you ended up listening to it.
I did.
I had to stop counting, but I counted the amount of times I said the word like. I stopped at 72. I've been trying this whole episode to not say it. Do I say it all the time? And like, God damn it! See, I said it there. When we talk in person, do I say it that many times?
Not that I noticed, no.
Okay.
I mean, you might, but you use it so, I guess, normally that it's not out of place. It's not like you double up on it frequently. where you will say like this
Yeah.
this like whatever, you know.
I was listening to the podcast and I was like, Jesus. I was thinking to myself, I was like, God damn it, I keep saying it. How are we gonna put this episode out and people listen to it? Because I talked for a long time about the tornado thing, and I was just sitting there like, oh my God, I don't care. Please stop saying that word. Oh my God. Oh my God. And he just kept going and going. I'm like, oh no. I'm going to have to tell Harris
That's
that
how I am when I that's how I am when I listen to our podcast. I'm like, Harris, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Make a good point or shut the hell up.
Yeah, so I apologize. I'm trying to be more cognizant of not saying it as much, but it was bad, dude. It was real bad. But
that's okay. I mean, I've heard some of the things I say, and I'm just like, please shut up.
Yeah.
Stop talking.
Oh, I guess there's one thing I just thought of. I don't know if you care to talk about this, but they ended up canceling the Halo TV show. After the second season.
The live action or the
live action
animated?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we know why? I mean, do you know why?
I think it was just because of like low ratings, and it made me think a lot of I don't know. I wouldn't really call it like I don't know if I called The Witcher like a video game property, but I feel like Halo and The Witcher kind of fall under like the same umbrella of entertainment. And I was just thinking it's weird that these are big fan bases, and Halo got canceled, The Witcher got canceled. I just don't know if it's just, there's just so much stuff to watch that even with, the big name behind it, that they just don't do well. But then I was like, well, the Fallout show's doing pretty good. I guess the only reason I bring this up is because I think it's kind of crazy that a Halo show didn't take off. You know what I mean? I don't know if you played much Halo or cared about it too much, but I figured that would be doing really well.
Yeah, I played a lot of Halo. Reach is one of my favorite games.
I really liked Reach. I know they added some stuff that people didn't like the armor lock and stuff like that. But I really liked that.
Yeah. I liked Reach. But I think the issue with the Halo series is Halo's been kind of dormant for a while. Like, after it got out of the hands of Bungie, it slowly just, like, faded further and further into obscurity, that when the show was announced, it's kind of... I was kind of like, who's this for? Similar to, like, if they made a Gears of War. I know you really liked Gears of War. I was into Gears of War as well. But it's kind of not like as hot as, Fallout, because they can just, I don't know, Fallout is a thing they're just going to keep. Yeah. Fallout is something they're going to keep dropping repeatedly.
Yeah.
They're going to keep making new games, keep updating the games, etc.
I just think it's like these companies are missing their window of doing this kind of stuff. I assume that Halo's most popular time period was between Halo 3 and Halo Reach. I think Halo 3 came out in like 2006 or 7 and Reach in like 10 or 11. So if they would have put out the TV show then, I think it would have exploded. Or
even if it was like 5 years ago, it would have done better.
I did see some reviews online that they didn't really like the writing, because Master Chief takes his helmet off like immediately. You see Master Chief's bare ass sometimes, and then Master Chief, there's like a sex scene with him, and everyone's like, "What? What is happening?"
Wait, aren't the Spartans like chemically castrated?
Maybe it wasn't a sex scene, but I know I saw a clip of Master Chief making out with someone, and I'm like, I don't like this. Master Chief is supposed to be like this big stoic guy who just kind of kills things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to like headcanon anything, but I feel like if there are any characters that are like ace, Master Chief is one of them.
Yeah. Not to derail too much, but I just got to bring this up because you said the word ace. So the word, like, yeah, people use ace as a way to say that they're asexual, right?
Yeah.
So I'm in college, and I'm getting my master's, and my professor wanted to like create a name for like his lab, so like him and all of his students, and he was trying to think of an acronym because we were in fisheries, and he did aquatic conservation and ecology. So the acronym is ACE. And the whole time I'm like, we're going to have a bunch of merchandise that just says ACE on it. And I did not have the heart to tell the guy that we're going to have a bunch of people. You'd be like, are they all asexual, or are they just like really proud about it? I did not have the heart to tell the guy, but man, he's going to find out one day. I'll have my degree and be gone, but he's going to have to deal with the name he picked for the rest of his life.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. But, yeah, not to derail too much. But no, that's pretty much all I had to talk about. I haven't really done much besides, I stayed 3 hours away from my house for a whole week working, and then this weekend we moved, so... And then the week before that, I was at a different place for a whole week, so I haven't really had much to do anything. So I don't really have too much to talk about, but I don't know if you have one last thing. I think we're hitting close to like 40 minutes, so maybe one more topic and call her good?
Yeah, just real quick. Did anything ever come out about that Borderlands TV series or movie? Is that canceled? Is that ever coming out?
I vaguely remember something about that, like the show was going to happen. But, I mean, honestly, what video game property has had a good job at making a show? The Last of Us? I like the show.
The Last of Us, Fallout.
The last Mortal Kombat movie, I don't know if you saw that one. Did you see that one?
I think we watched it together.
We did! I forgot about that.
Yeah. I
liked that one. I thought it was kind of silly, but overall I thought it was okay. The acting wasn't super great. Like, Kano was kind of stupid, but...
But he was also kind of the best part of the movie.
Yeah. Well, and it was kind of stupid that the get their powers, it was kind of like a midichlorian thing from the Star Wars.
Yeah.
So that was kind of stupid. They just don't have the powers or whatever. But
I didn't hate that. My only thing was I didn't like the main character. He was just kind of
just Joe Smo,
self-insert
MMA fighter. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it would have been cool if they just picked a random, like, quote-unquote good guy and followed them through it.
Like if they had Sonya or Jax as the main character, or even had like Johnny Cage. Well, I guess Johnny Cage wasn't even in it. He was in the second. They tease him for the second one. But yeah. Also, I'm sorry with all these horrible segues. I know you wanted to talk about something, but did you see? I can't think of. Did you see Mike Perry get his ass kicked?
Was it by Jake Paul?
Yes.
No, I just saw that one of the Pauls was fighting him.
I thought Mike Perry was doing really okay. I don't know how well you can be doing at bare knuckle boxing. If you're at bare knuckle boxing, you're probably not having a great part of your career. But I thought he was like the champion there, and to get his ass kicked by, I guess Jake Paul's probably the better of the two at boxing. It's kind of insane, but come on.
I also think he's significantly larger than Mike Perry. I think
Isn't Mike Perry also
fought at 170?
Old?
And I think he's in his mid-30s, close to late 30s.
Okay, I mean that's not.
And he's also
crazy.
He's also taken some beatings.
Well, that's what I thought.
His main defense strategy was to block with his face.
That's what I thought.
This man also did a DNA test. We got to talk about Mark Perry for a sec. This man did a DNA test once, and it told him like 2% African, and then he just started saying the N-word.
Oh, that's why I saw there was like a UFC subreddit where it's like UFC circle jerk. Do you know what I'm talking about? How they have those subreddits?
No, but that sounds really funny.
There's like a bunch of subreddits where it's like, NBA circle jerks and all this other where they just say the dumbest things, like dumbest takes, and just joke around and have fun. Sometimes it just gets plain racist, but there was on one of it might have been like MMA circle jerk. There was a thing where it's like, guys, our African prince is getting his ass kicked, and I was like, what? And I looked like at his Wikipedia. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this guy's like white and maybe like a little Latino or something, but I don't think he's black. But now that makes way more sense.
Yeah. He also has one of my favorite clips, period.
Okay.
He's at the weigh-in. The other guy weighs in. He's walking up to them. They do a face-off, right? Where they like put their dukes up and then they take a photo in front of Dana White. And he puts his hand out to like shake the guy's hand, and the guy like reaches out to shake his hand, and then he pulls his hand back, puts it in a fist, and then screams, "Thought you had a friend, boy." If you could insert that in the edit, that would be fantastic. It's one of my favorite clips of all time. It's like 6 seconds long. It's just the most insane, man. And the guy's like, what just happened?
Yeah. Jesus Christ. This dude's like Wikipedia under controversies has like 4 different sections. Yeah. So, but yeah, he was 5-0 in bare knuckle boxing, and then he got his ass kicked. But yeah, he does not seem like he's maybe the best fighter ever, because it looks like in UFC he pretty much has lost everything. So
yeah, he was kind of like a win one lose one kind of guy.
Yeah. But
but he would go out there and put on a show, so it kept him in a job in there for a while.
Yeah, I thought like maybe you were like with the DNA test, you were like it was like a meme, like that can't be true. No, it literally says he posted a video on social media to state that a DNA test had showed that he had 2% African ancestry.
Yeah.
I thought it was like I was like, I believed you, but I'm like, oh, it had to have been like, it said like 20% or something, or like his grandparent is or something, but no, it's 2%. That's in the realm of like of like error where he might have 0%.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Listeners, if you're not going to look this man up, just to picture you'd be driving down a Florida road and you would look over and you'd see some dude on the street. That's Mike Perry.
Imagine him having a Monster Energy hat and a tap out shirt on, and that's him. But yeah, okay. So was there something you were going to talk about
let's just cover my last 2 topics.
Yeah.
I like to watch shows before bed. So I look for shows that I don't really have to pay too much attention to, that I just want to relax to. And the first one I tried was a show called Devil Lady.
Oh boy. Anime?
And yes. And it is I guess, loose sequel to Devilman. Devilman is this guy who gets powers, and he's kind of fighting back against societal norms.
Society.
And there was a 2015 or 2016 re-adaptation of Devilman called Devilman Crybaby, and a lot of people liked it. I didn't. I loved the animation of it, but it was kind of weird in ways I didn't enjoy or feel comfortable with, especially its treatment of female characters in the show. we don't have to get into it, but I saw Devil Lady was from the same author as the original Devilman. I think his name is Go Nagoy, and I just threw it on to have as something to fall asleep to. Surprise, a show with the title Devil Lady, not something you're gonna easily fall asleep to when monsters are ripping people's guts out all the time.
Yeah, it looks like it was like a Devilman was like a manga in the 70s, and then it got real dark with the episode. Oh my god! I just saw. if I remember, I'll put. I don't know if I can put the cover of the Wikipedia page for Devil Lady has the Volume 3 cover art, and I don't know if I could put it on YouTube.
I'm gonna pull this up. I gotta see what this looks like, because
that's just straight
her
up
design. Her devil design is insane.
Yeah, this is from the 97 to 2000 manga, so it might be old. They might have like a better, and it looks like there was one season in 1998 of the show.
Oh Jesus! Yeah, you cannot post that.
I don't think I can put that on here. Does it look about the same as that?
At points, her devil version is much more inhuman.
Okay,
but it is pretty much that. Yeah.
So, are you still watching it?
Not before bed, no. So quick recap of the couple episodes that I watched. She is a model, and this one secret agent lady shows up and is following her, and the lady's like, I need your help. She's like, what are you talking about? She's like, you're a demon, you're half demon, so I need you to help me hunt full demons. And it seems like it's going to be pretty formulaic. The main girl is friends with a high schooler, which I was like, that's weird, but okay. She kind of mentors her as like a big sister role, to become a professional model when she's done with school. And one of the demons hate the main girl because she's killing other demons, and they're like, you're killing your own kind. So they hate her for that. So one of the demons figures out that this high school girl, is friends with her. So he sends demons to her house, and the main girl is like, I have to go save her. And then, you get to the house, and it does a pretty decent job in horror as far as when the girl goes in the bath, and then I think the show implies that the dad might be abusing her in some way, which was uncomfortable, but then a demon kills him, which cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so
yeah,
like, yeah, cool. I guess.
Yeah, I was like, I guess good job, demon. And the girl gets out of the bath, and she like goes and sees that her dad is just murdered. So she runs downstairs to her mom and sees that her mom is also murdered. And then she's like paralyzed with fear as this demon is like walking up to her. And it's done really well as far as horror goes. And the girl shows up and kind of saves her. I mean, the house falls on top of her, so like, how well does that go?
Yeah. You're saved. Your house is destroyed and your parents are dead, but I've saved you.
Yeah, pretty much. And then they have another episode where she meets another half devil person, but the girl knew her from when they both went to high school together, and the way they were talking to each other, I was like, oh, these two girls are gay. Like, they were a thing.
Gotcha.
And then the show continues for them to like how they speak to each other, and I was like, oh no, no, they're actually gay. It's just the show isn't gonna outright state it. And then they had a flashback scene in a locker room, and I was like, oh shit, no, the show is showing me that they're gay.
Cool. They are showing me.
They were gay. Like, they were like, no, there is no implied homosexuality here. These two girls were with each other, and I was like, okay, I feel uncomfortable now. Like, the locker room scene is one of the girls forcing herself on the other one, and I was like, oh, you could have told me that happened. I didn't need to see that. Okay, cool. So
yeah, so it's just a bunch of like stuff like that happening, and as like a veil behind it, like, no, it's actually really a devil demon hunting TV show. I swear, it's not a weird lesbian. Not weird lesbian, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like a guy made a lesbian show to have like women have sex and also demons.
I think it's a little bit of both, honestly. I think
Fair.
I'm gonna be real. Like, there is some like poignant stuff in it where it's this woman, you know, going through life and trying to question her role in things, where she's like, do I want to be a model at this agency? Do I want to hunt demons? Do I want to live up to the expectations that X or Y have of me? But it is also really exploitative. Like, I'm sure there's going to be more fucked up shit that happens along the way.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to finish the series, but I'm going to keep watching for a little bit to see how fucking insane this show gets. I don't know how it's going to resolve. It's not doing anything particularly incredible. I mean, the horror shots that it pulls off, I'm like, these are really good for an anime. I've never seen a good horror anime. So that was that show, and I didn't want to keep trying to fall asleep to that. So what I switched to was, so I was flipping through, seeing what was on the streaming service, and then I came across a show that is also another old show, but it's from the maker, the author that made Inuyasha. The show is called Ranma 1/2, or it's based on the manga called Ranma 1/2. And it is.
He turns into a dude, or he turns into a girl when he's in hot water, or vice versa. I can't remember what it is.
Do you know this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you knew.
I've watched one episode, and his dad turns into a panda, and he turns into a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it's giving harem vibes.
Yeah.
So
I can't. I only watched like the first episode, and I think it was like they go to like someone's house. It might have been like a dad and his daughter's house or something to talk to them.
Yeah, a dad and his 3 daughters.
And
one of them is also very lesbian coded.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember part of that. But yeah, how many episodes have you watched?
I've watched, I think, 4 episodes.
Is it good?
It's a very nice background show to fall asleep to.
Fair.
It's very relaxing. Well, I don't know about that.
Well, more of like it's not gonna have horror scenes or like suggested abuse scenes.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about someone's guts getting ripped out.
Yeah, I think it's an older.
I do have to worry
too.
about. Oh yeah, both these shows are older anime. But Ranma 1/2, it's fun. It's very lighthearted. It's pretty. I'd say it's slice of lifey. It's not. You're not gonna see any like huge reveals that turn the show upside down or anything. It's a very chill time. You know, you do have to deal with some anime-isms where you're like, oh, okay, another bath scene. Cool.
Well, he changes to a girl when he's in water, so he has to be naked, and when he turns into a girl, he's naked, okay? This is how it has to be.
So I think it's when when cold water touches him, he turns into a girl.
Right.
And when hot water touches him, he turns back into a boy.
Correct. I think that's what it is. And then his dad turns into a panda, and then he turns not into a panda.
Yes, and the backstory to it is they went on a training mission to China, and they fell into pools that cursed them. The dad fell into a panda pool, and Ranma fell into a girl pool. And
it's so fucking stupid. He fell into a panda pool. Now he turns into a panda.
So the dub of this show has a very offensive Chinese accent during the part where they're in Hong Kong, and I was rolling my eyes.
I think I watched it subtitled, so I guess I never got to that.
I was like, oh no, please don't do this. Oh god. This can be over now, please. Like, give me more of the weird fucking, oh, he's giving away one of his 3 daughters scene rather than this fucking awkward ass racist scene.
Fair. So, of the two, if you had to watch the rest of the series of Devil Lady or Ranma 1/2, what would you choose?
Like, to seriously watch or to just watch?
To seriously watch. If you had to watch one of
probably
the two.
Devil Lady.
Yeah. I feel like Ranma is just see where not much goes on. Like you said, it's slice of life where it's just like, things happen, but there's not really any progression of a plot.
Yeah. And that happens in Inuyasha as well.
Yeah. I've never watched Inuyasha. Oh. Is it worth it? I don't know why. I put Inuyasha and like Naruto and Bleach kind of in that tier of like, I know people really, really like these, but I've never really watched a bunch of it.
When it comes to Inuyasha, I wouldn't say you would like it because it is a lot of episodes of slowly progressing the relationship between characters and very slowly progressing the story of them putting together the jewel back together. For Naruto, I'd recommend Naruto, but only with a filler guide. The highs of Naruto is some of the highs you will ever get from a show. And then for Bleach, I kind of fell off Bleach when it was new, when it was airing early on. So that doesn't really... I'm not the Bleach person, so I can't really... I think character design-wise, Bleach is fantastic. Music-wise, all of the openings are so good. But storyline-wise, it kind of just hits the same beats on repeat. And it does have, like, the power problem where Ichigo goes and trains and now has a new transformation. And if there is any kind of different, like, they're, hollow or whatever kinds of enemies there are, like, they're a different type of breed or whatever, Ichigo is like 1/8 that. So he always is like, I'm also whatever you are, kind of. So that part gets really annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've watched it. I just knew... I don't know why I associate some of those animes in like the same category where you hear a lot about them and people really like them, but I've never been in that space to watch any of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But if you were going to watch any 3 of those, I'd recommend watching Naruto with a filler guide. Because when it hits, damn, does it hit. And I know a lot of people will... The second half of this series is called Shippuden. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are like, once you get to Shippuden, that's when it gets really good. I disagree. I think Shippuden is good. I think early Naruto is great.
Yeah, I think I've seen
Shippuden kind of turns into, battle-wise at least, for me it turns into, oh, I'm from this family, so I beat you because fuck you, you're not from this super family. I know that's going to piss people off, but I really don't care. I like early Naruto where it's, here's my technique, let's stretch the boundaries of this thing to its nth degree. So one of the characters is called Shikamaru. He is a very intelligent character, and his ability is that he has a shadow that if it touches your feet, you are now stuck mimicking his movements one-to-one. And the first time this happens, he's fighting this girl in the exams, and like it's a tournament, so they get matched up together, and he doesn't know how he's going to beat her, but he needs to first catch her in this shadow technique. And then once he has her, he's like, okay, I'm going to throw a shuriken at her, a ninja star.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I'm going to do the same to you, so we're both going to get stabbed. And he goes, I think I know what I'm doing here. So he throws it, and then he leans back to dodge it. So she also now is going to lean back to dodge it. But when he caught her in the jutsu, she was right next to the wall. So he has her whip back and hit her head on the back of the wall to knock her unconscious.
Jesus Christ. That's very convoluted.
Yeah, I love that shit. I love when anime does that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I have this one specific thing. How do I use it to my advantage? It happens in JoJo's with stand battles all the time, and hook that shit up to my veins because it's my favorite thing.
Fair. We don't have time to talk about JoJo. I think we gotta wrap up. I think we're.
If I start talking about JoJo's, this is gonna be a 3-hour podcast.
I know. We're already an hour in, so. Do you have anything for homework, or just now everyone listen to or read Invincible and talk about Invincible or whatever next episode?
Yes, I'm going to read more of this. If I have any recommendations, I'd recommend Dungeon Meshi. It's really good. It's not super long. And then once the second season comes out, that'll be all that's out there. So you don't have to worry about, 4 seasons in a movie.
Yeah, maybe if I can find where it's streaming, I might watch it too, and so maybe we can talk about it more next episode or something.
It's a Netflix series.
Okay. Yeah, I have Netflix, so maybe I'll watch it and we can talk about it a little bit more in depth next episode.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sounds good.
Alrighty.
All right, bye.
Bye.